students. In the previous lecture, we have seen how the quantum numbers for a particular electron are determined. Okay, we have seen some of the examples regarding that quantum numbers. Here, when we have studied the quantum numbers, we have seen that the azimuthal quantum number, that is L, determines the shape of orbital. Okay. Here, the L is having different values which are ranging from 0 to n minus 1, and depending upon that L values, we can find or we can decide the shape of orbital. Here again I will revise. When n is equal to 0, the name of that orbital is S. When n is equal to 1, that orbital, actually the subshell, this is not the orbital but it is a subshell. The subshell is named as P. When n is equal to 2, it is named as D subshell, and when n is equal to 3, it is named as F subshell. So, with the help of the values of azimuthal quantum number, that is L, you are here showing the different subshells. Now again we have seen that these subshells contain the orbitals, and the orbitals are given by using the number which is named as magnetic quantum number, that is ML. Now this magnetic quantum number gives us the orientation of that orbital around the nucleus. So orientation of orbital is given with the help of magnetic quantum number, and the number of orientations are decided again by using the formula, that is by knowing the value of n. Here we have seen the formula. The values of m and are ranging from minus n, they pass through 0 and end with plus n. So these values are deciding the orientations of the orbitals, and based on these orientations, here the different orbitals are having different shapes. So in the today's lecture, we are going to study the shapes of that different orbitals. Shapes of orbitals. Let's see first the shape of s orbital. Again we know that for s orbital, n is equal to 0, and therefore what are the values of n? Again there will be only one value, and the value is 0. Means s orbital has only one orientation, single orientation, and so see the shape of this s orbital. Here the orbitals are shown along the three coordination axes as x, y and z. These s orbitals are spherically symmetrical. These are spherically symmetrical in shape, and their shape is shown just like this. Now what is orbital? In the previous lecture I have told you the definition. A three-dimensional space or three-dimensional region around the nucleus where the probability of finding the electron density is maximum, that is called as orbital. Means around the nucleus here, if there is a spherically symmetrical region where the probability of finding the electron is maximum, then that orbital is named as S. Now see, this is a region which shows a maximum probability around the nucleus. Maximum probability of electron around the nucleus. So this is the shape of S orbital. Now these orbitals are actually spherically symmetrical, but the three-dimensional region of that orbital or three-dimensional structure of that orbital cannot be shown properly on this two-dimensional pole, and therefore here such a boundary diagram can be used. Now let's see, this boundary diagram of S orbital indicates the region which is showing maximum probability of electron density. Again we know that this maximum probability of electron density is directly proportional to psi square. Psi is a wave function, and the square of this wave function gives us the maximum probability of the electron density around the nucleus in an atom. So with the help of such a boundary surface diagram, you can easily express or you can easily give the shape of orbital. Now suppose there is a first shell of atom. Here for the first shell, we know that n is equal to 1. And the first shell consists of only one orbital, and that orbital will be named as 1s orbital. Here, the shape of this 1s orbital is shown in this diagram. So, this is a shape of 1s orbital. Okay. Now, if n is equal to 2, what are the values of n? We know that there are two values of n, and the values are 0 and 1. Here again, since n is equal to 0, this second shell will consist of s orbital and p orbital. Now let's see the shape of this 2s orbital. Later on I will tell you the shape of 2p orbital. Okay. Now here again, this orbital, since it is s orbital, it will be spherically symmetrical. But let's see the difference in 1s and 2s. Actually in this atom, there is presence of 1s orbital also. And in the second shell, there will be presence of 2s orbital. So I will show the 1s orbital in this manner. This is a 1s orbital, and around this 1s orbital there will be presence of 2s orbital. Now observe these shapes. Again, both the orbitals are spherically symmetrical, but here you will observe that the size of 1s orbital is less, while the size of 2s orbital is more. It has become bigger. Here again you will find that there is a region in between 1s orbital and 2s orbital, where the probability of finding the electron density is minimum, or we say that there is 0 probability of finding the electron density. In this case, this region, okay, hollow region, empty region, where the probability of finding the electron density is 0, and such a region is named as node. In 1s orbital there is no node. Okay, here around the nucleus we can say that in 1s orbital, since it is small, here most of the region of that orbital will show the maximum probability of electron density. But here in case of 2s orbital, you will observe one node where the probability of finding the electron density is 0. So you have to remember the definition of node. The region around the nucleus where the probability of finding the electron density decreases to 0. That is called as node, or it is also named as nodal surface. In this way, if you take 3s orbital, again you will observe that the size of that orbital will get increased, and that 3s orbital is having 2 nodes. This indicates that here, as the value of L increases, the size of orbital also increases. The size of s orbital increases. So the size of any orbital is determined by the principal quantum number, that is L. The size of orbital is determined with the help of N. Means N decides the size of orbital. As the value of N increases, the size of orbital also increases. But the shape of orbital is decided by the azimuthal quantum number, that is N. Okay. Now let's see the shape of p orbital, the second orbital. We know that for p orbital, the value of L is 1, and therefore the values of L are -1, 0 and +1. Means there are 3 orientations of the p orbital, and depending upon that 3 kinds of orientations, here there are 3 types of p orbitals. And that orbitals are named as px, py and pz. Okay. The p orbitals are of 3 types, named as px, py and pz orbitals. Now let's see how these p orbitals are oriented. Actually the shape of p orbitals is just like a dumbbell. We know the dumbbell is having 2 lobes. In the same manner, the p orbitals are also having 2 lobes. And how that lobes are represented, let's see. Suppose these are the 3 Cartesian coordinates or 3 axes, x, y and z. Here the lobes of the orbitals are pointing along the axis. Suppose if the 2 lobes are pointing along x-axis like this, then that orbital is named as px orbital. Similarly, if the lobes of the p orbital are pointing along y-axis, this is a y-axis, if the lobes are lying along this y-axis, then that orbital is named as py orbital. While if the 2 lobes of p orbital are lying on z-axis just like this, then that orbital is named as pz orbital. So px orbital lies along x-axis, py orbital lies along y-axis just like this, and pz orbital lies along the z-axis. In this way, there are 3 types of p orbitals, px, py and pz. Now for the p orbital, again you will observe that actually this is a three-dimensional shape like this. Every orbital whose lobes are just like this. Here in the region, in this region, there is a zero probability of finding the electron density. Let's see. So this region is named as node. Actually, this node is having a plane-like structure. So if you pass the plane through this, just like this. Now, through this plane here, you will find the zero probability of finding the electron density. Okay, and that's why we can say that the p orbitals are having nodal planes. How many planes are present in a particular orbital? Here the formula is number of nodal planes for any orbital is equal to L. जेवढी L ची व्हॅल्यू असणार आहे तेवढे त्या ऑर्बिटल मध्ये नोडल प्लेन्स असणार आहेत. आता p ऑर्बिटल साठी L ची व्हॅल्यू आहे 1. म्हणून p ऑर्बिटल मध्ये प्रत्येक p ऑर्बिटल मध्ये एक नोडल प्लेन असणार आहे. हा प्लेन या ठिकाणी अशा पद्धतीने दाखवला गेला आहे. p y ऑर्बिटल साठीचा प्लेन हा असा असणार आहे. हा प्लेन न्यूक्लियस मधून पास होतो आणि या प्लेनच्या दोन्ही बाजूला या पद्धतीने आपल्याला हे दोन लोब्स त्या ऑर्बिटलचे पाहायला मिळतात. सिमिलरली दिस pz ऑर्बिटल इज हॅव्हिंग सच सिंगल नोडल प्लेन. सो द नोड्स आर ऍक्च्युअली ऑफ टू टाइप्स. स्फेरिकल नोड जे आपण s ऑर्बिटल मध्ये पाहिलं होतं. s ऑर्बिटलचा शेप स्फेरिकली सिमेट्रिकल होता आणि त्यामुळे जो रिजन आपल्याला मिळाला नोडल रिजन s ऑर्बिटल मध्ये, सपोज दिस इज 1s ऑर्बिटल अँड दिस वन इज 2s ऑर्बिटल. या ठिकाणी हा जो नोडल रिजन मिळाला होता तो कसा होता? स्फेरिकल शेपचा होता. सो दॅट नोड्स आर नेम्ड ॲज स्फेरिकल नोड्स ऑर रॅडियल नोड्स. आणि p ऑर्बिटल मध्ये जे आपल्याला नोड्स मिळाले ते कसे आहेत? दे आर जस्ट लाईक अ प्लेन. सो दे आर नेम्ड ॲज अ नोडल प्लेन्स. सो रिमेंबर अगेन what is meant by node? A three-dimensional region around the nucleus where the probability of finding the electron density is 0. That is called as node. What is spherical node? The spherical surface within an atom, within the orbital on which the probability of finding the electron density is 0. The spherical region within that orbital, that is called as spherical node. Why? What is nodal plane? It is a plane passing through the nucleus on which the probability of finding the electron density is 0. That is called as nodal plane. Now sometimes in exam the question is asked to find the number of nodes, either spherical nodes or the nodal planes. You have to decide the number of spherical nodes or nodal planes for a particular orbital. So to find that number, here you must know the two important formulas. The first one, that is number of spherical nodes. The spherical nodes are also named as the radial nodes. They are decided by knowing the simple formula, that is n minus L minus 1. And the number of nodal planes. that are equal to n. Let's see some examples so that you will easily find the number of radial nodes and the nodal planes. Here, suppose we take one s orbital. Now count the number of spherical nodes for one s orbital. The formula should be n minus l minus 1. Now for one s orbital, here n is equal to 1 and l is equal to 0. We know it. Okay. This is one s orbital. And therefore, the number of spherical nodes will become 1 minus 0 minus 1, that is equal to 0. Already we have seen that one s orbital is not having any node or nodal surface. Similarly, how many nodal planes will be present in it? The number of nodal planes are equal to L. Okay. Here for s orbital, we know that L is equal to 0, means again there is no any nodal plane for the one s orbital. If you take 2s orbital, for the 2s orbital, n is equal to 2 and s is equal to 0 again. So count the number of spherical nodes. N, that is 2 minus l, that is minus 0 minus 1, that is equal to 1. Means for 2s orbital there is one spherical node while the nodal plane is 0 because l is equal to 0. Means 2l orbital, 2s orbital has no any nodal plane. Remember, when any s orbital do not possess nodal plane, because for any s orbital the nodal the value of l is 0. Let's see the 3s orbital. Here for 3s orbital n is equal to 3 and again l is equal to 0, and therefore you will find the number of radial nodes as 2. Radial or spherical nodes 2 while the nodal planes are 0. If you take 2p orbital, for 2p orbital n is equal to 2 and l is equal to 1, and therefore the number of radial nodes are 2 minus 1 minus 1, that is 0. Means the 2p orbital do not possess any spherical node, but it will possess one nodal plane, and we have seen that nodal plane. Similarly, take the example of 3p orbital. For the 3p orbital, here n is equal to 2 and l is equal to 1. Sorry, l is equal to 3, and therefore the number of radial nodes are 1. 3p orbital also possess one radial node while it will possess one nodal plane. Similarly, you can take 4d orbital. Here n is equal to 4 and l is equal to, for d orbital we know that l is equal to 2. So the number of nodes are n minus l minus 1, that is 1. D orbital will also possess one radial node while it will possess two nodal planes. In this manner, for any given orbital, you can find the number of spherical nodes and nodal planes with the help of these two formulae. Now go towards the shape of d orbitals. Third type of orbitals. We have seen that the p orbitals are dumbbell shaped and their lobes are lying along the axis. The energies of these p orbitals are same, px, py and pz. 3 types of orbitals are there, but their energies are same in the absence of magnetic field, and therefore that orbitals are called as degenerate orbitals. Remember well the meaning of the word degenerate orbitals. The orbitals which are having the same energy, that are called as degenerate orbitals. All p orbitals are degenerate. Similarly, the d orbitals are also degenerate. Now for d orbitals, again n is equal to 2, and therefore possible ml values are -2, -1, 0, +1 and +2. We have seen it. Means how many orientations are possible? 5 types of orientations are possible for d orbitals, and therefore the d orbitals are of 5 types, and they are named as dxy, dyz, dxz, then dx square minus y square and dz square. Now let's see the shape of these d orbitals. Actually, the d orbitals are double dumbbell shaped. Double dumbbell shaped means they will have 4 lobes, just like the 4 balloons tied together. 4 फुगे जसे आपण एकत्रित बांधतो तशा या ऑर्बिटल्स दिसतात. आता या 5ही ऑर्बिटलची एनर्जी सारखी असते आणि म्हणून यांना आपण काय म्हणतो, degenerate orbitals. In absence of magnetic field, they are having same energy, and that's why they are named as degenerate orbitals. पण यांचा जो शेप आहे डबल डम्बेल शेप, तो एक्सप्लेन करण्यासाठी या 5 ऑर्बिटलचं परत 2 टाईपमध्ये क्लासिफिकेशन केलेलं आहे. याच्या पहिल्या 3 ऑर्बिटल्स आहेत कोणत्या, dxy, dyz and dxz. या ऑर्बिटलचा एक सेट बनवलेला आहे. कशावरून? डिपेंडिंग अपॉन देअर ओरिएंटेशन. Here the lobes of these orbitals lie in between the axes. ते कशा पद्धतीनं इन बिटवीन ॲक्सिस असतात हे मी नंतर तुम्हाला सांगणारच आहे. अँड द लोब्स ऑफ dx square minus y square and dz square orbitals, they lie along the axis. Let's see how the lobes are shown. For that purpose, I will again show here x, y and z axis. Now here dxy orbital. What is the meaning of dxy orbital? Here the lobes, 4 lobes of this orbital are lying in between x and y axis. x आणि y ॲक्सिसच्या मध्ये त्यांचे लोब्स आपल्याला दाखवायचे. आता हा x ॲक्सिस आहे, हा y ॲक्सिस आहे. हा पहिला लोब झाला. हा y ॲक्सिस एक्सटेंड केल्यानंतर तुम्हाला हा लोब मिळेल. सो दीज आर द 2 लोब्स ऑफ द dxy orbital. Similarly, the remaining 2 lobes should be drawn by not considering this z axis. आपल्या कन्व्हिनियन्ससाठी कन्सिडर करा की इथे z ॲक्सिस नाहीये. आता कोणते ॲक्सिस उरले पहा. इथे x ॲक्सिस आहे आणि या ठिकाणी y ॲक्सिस आहे. ठीक आहे. आता या y आणि या x च्या मध्ये उरलेले 2 लोब्स आपण दाखवूया. हा एक लोब आणि हा एक लोब. अशा पद्धतीनं हे 4 लोब्स आपण ड्रॉ केले आणि ऑल दीज लोब्स आर लाइंग इन बिटवीन x and y axis. Okay, and therefore this orbital is named as dxy orbital. Similarly, you have to draw the shape of dyz orbital. आता dyz orbital कशी ड्रॉ करायची पहा. या ठिकाणी बऱ्याच विद्यार्थ्यांना या ऑर्बिटलचे शेप ड्रॉ करणं अवघड जात असतं. सपोज दिस इज झेड ॲक्सिस. The lobes will lie in between y and z axis. इथे y axis आहे, या ठिकाणी z axis आहे. This is the first lobe. Two lobes are shown here. आता आपल्याला y आणि z च्या मध्ये राहिलेले दोन लोब्स दाखवायचे. कन्सिडर करा की हा x ॲक्सिस नाहीये. मग ते दोन लोब्स तुम्ही कसे दाखवाल? y आणि z च्या मध्ये. बरोबर. So these are the remaining two lobes. All the lobes are lying in between y and z axis, and therefore that orbital is named as dyz orbital. Similarly, here I will show the shape of dxz orbital. Obviously, these lobes of the orbitals will lie in between x and z axis. For that purpose, again, don't consider this y axis. Then the lobes will be shown in this manner, right? So these are the shapes of three orbitals whose lobes are lying in between the axes. Now let's see the second set of d orbitals. That is dx square minus y square and dz square orbitals. Here the dx square minus y square orbital lies along the axis. Suppose these are again three axes, x, y, z. X square and y square means the lobes are lying along x axis and along y axis. X axis वर दोन लोब दाखवले आणि y axis वर दोन लोब दाखवले. So this orbital is named as dx square minus y square orbital. आणि dz square orbitalचा शेप मात्र थोडासा वेगळा असतो. पहा, dz square orbital मध्ये जे दोन लोब्स असतात ते they lie along this z axis. जे दोन लोब आहेत ते z axis वर दाखवले. But the remaining two lobes are forming a downlit ring along the x axis. किंवा न्यूक्लियस भोवती अशा पद्धतीने ते रिंग प्रिपेअर करतात आणि म्हणून या ऑर्बिटलला नाव देत असताना फक्त dz स्क्वेअर असं नाव दिलेलं आहे. आता p ऑर्बिटल्स असो किंवा d ऑर्बिटल्स असो किंवा s ऑर्बिटल्स असो, मगाशी सांगितल्याप्रमाणेच या ऑर्बिटलचे शेप हे n ची व्हॅल्यू इन्क्रीज झाली की इन्क्रीज होतात. शेप सारखेच असतात पण साईज मात्र इन्क्रीज होते. मीन्स विथ इन्क्रीज इन व्हॅल्यू ऑफ n प्रिन्सिपल क्वांटम नंबर द साईज ऑफ ऑर्बिटल इन्क्रीजेस. प्रत्येक ऑर्बिटलची साईज ही इन्क्रीज होत असते. ठीक आहे. आता एफ ऑर्बिटल्स 7 टाईपच्या मिळतात आपल्याला. बिकॉज फॉर एफ ऑर्बिटल्स n is equal to 3 means mn is equal to -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2 and 3. ठीक आहे. 7 orientations are there. So there are 7 types of f orbitals. Again, the shape of f orbitals is more complicated than the shape of d orbitals, and therefore the shape of f orbitals is not given in your syllabus. You just must know the shape of s, p and d orbitals properly. In exam, the question is always asked to draw the shape of any one of the orbital, either s, p or d orbital. And that's why you have to draw properly the shapes of all these orbitals. Okay. Now already I have told you that with increase in value of n, the size of orbital increases. Similarly, the energy of orbital increases. n ची व्हॅल्यू इन्क्रीज झाली की साईज वाढते आणि त्यासोबतच त्या ऑर्बिटलची एनर्जी देखील इन्क्रीज होत जाते. आणि ऑब्व्हियसली मग प्रत्येक ऑर्बिटलची एनर्जी ही वेगवेगळी असणार आहे. न्यूक्लियस पासून जसजसे आपण पुढे पुढे जाऊ, फर्स्ट शेल, सेकंड शेल, थर्ड शेल, तसतशी ऑर्बिटलची एनर्जी देखील काय होत जाणार आहे, इन्क्रीज होत जाणार आहे. ठीक आहे. आणि मग या ऑर्बिटलच्या एनर्जीज कशा पद्धतीनं कॅल्क्युलेट केल्या जातात, कशा डिसाईड केल्या जातात आणि त्यानुसार मग त्या ऑर्बिटल्स दिलेल्या ॲटममध्ये कशा पद्धतीनं अरेंज केलेल्या असतात, या गोष्टी आपण नेक्स्ट लेक्चरला बघणार आहे. ठीक आहे. थँक्यू.